Hey, everybody. Welcome to the HR and Leadership Spotlight Show. My guest today, from Jungle Cruise to international customer service guru. I know you're laughing. I hear someone laughing. Oh my gosh, it's Mike Donnelly. Mike, welcome to the show.
Good morning, Chuck. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I am excited to have you on the show. From Jungle Cruise to internationally known, you've written a book, you speak around the world. I've seen your videos. I cannot wait to hear your story and learn more about you and what you're doing now. But first of all, why don't you go ahead and tell us what you brought for us today?
Oh, well, thanks. Hey, this is my mug. This is my Disney Institute mug. This was mailed to me, golly, I think probably 6 years ago. And it's a mug that has, look, it has my name. Well, it's been washed so many times, but it has my name on the back. A personalized mug. This was a very nice surprise that I received just before Christmas. Golly, back in 2014, I think it was. And the key here was the mug was really nice. But there was a handwritten note from the leader of the Disney Institute that simply said, hey, thanks for all your help and your work working with the Disney Institute all year. And I thought that was a really nice thing. It was a nice surprise. And I've had it for 6 years now. So here's to the DI.
That's pretty cool. That's good. I love the mug, but I love the handwritten note. And that is something that I know is a key to your message. And I want to come back to that. That handwritten note's so important. But tell us a little bit more about your story. You and I worked together back in the Disney days. I was on Main Street. You were in Jungle Cruise. So how does someone go from Jungle Cruise skipper to basically running your own company?
Well, thanks for asking. So Morocco Mike back in the day. So we spent some time really engaging guests on the Jungle Cruise in Adventureland. So that's where we met. And Morocco Mike would tell a bunch of corny jokes to guests that came to see us. And it was really, very fun. So my favorite Jungle Cruise joke is there's a dock over there on the left, and then there's a dock over there on the right. Here in the jungle, we call that a paradox.
Yes. I remember those. I remember those jokes.
Yes.
And you still tell them.
Corny.
And you still tell them. It's like inbred in you, right? You still tell them.
I can't get away. You can take the Jungle Cruise skipper out of the jungle, but you can't take the jungle out of the Jungle Cruise skipper.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. In fact, the poster, there it is behind me. That you and I saw the same poster. We were on the same college program back then. And a lot of times it's taking a chance. And like I've told you before, and I've said this is a pivot moment for me when I was trying to get from one part of the Penn State campus to the other. It was a cloudy, cold, rainy October. And I saw that poster in the hotel restaurant building. And I thought, I'll go to that interview. If I had not done that, I have a friend that calls those moments gutsy pivots. In other words, you always have an opportunity. You have an opportunity to pivot, to change your life. And I took that opportunity. If I had not done that, I would not be here today. I would not be here talking to you. So let's talk about your own gutsy pivots, Mike, because I know that you going from Jungle Cruise skipper, like I said, international customer service guru, and in between there, you led the initiative for Papa John's Pizza on their training and development. And you built that out. You grew that company from a training perspective. So you've got some really cool stories to tell. I don't even know if there's enough for just this one show, but you have enough gutsy pivots for all of us. So talk to us about your story, Mike.
Well, yeah, thanks for asking, Chuck. So after the Jungle Cruise, we worked on the guest relations office in the Magic Kingdom. So we had the opportunity to highlight all things Disney to guests that were coming from all around the world. Then we worked for a while in casting. So we did some interviewing for potential cast members. We worked in resort operations in the Grand Floridian and the Caribbean Beach. So that's kind of a nice opportunity. It's a Disney difference is they take leaders and try to get them rounded with their experience. So both of us experienced that at Disney. So spent some time in casting in the Disney Institute and in the resort division. And then a gentleman named John Schnatter came by and was fascinated by what he called the emotional connection that Disney was able to create. And by that, I mean emotional connections lead to economic outcomes. One more time. Emotional connections lead to economic outcomes.
Okay.
So when you think about that, you think, okay, well, if I have a positive emotional connection with an organization or an experience, there are positive economic consequences for that. If I have a negative emotional connection with an experience or an organization, then there are negative economic consequences for that negativity. So John saw that. He saw the positive emotional connection that Disney is able to create with their cast members and their guests that come to see them. And he wanted to create that to grow the Papa John's brand back when there were just a few Papa John's stores. And that's what we helped him do.
Gotcha. So talk about that emotional connection. And I know you're big on the power of the story. So how does that all come together?
Yeah. So you think about the power of the story and its ability to create an emotional connection, and that's really kind of the Disney difference, and that goes all the way back to Walt Disney. Walt Disney was a master storyteller. That's how he led, and that's how he was able to get all of his cast members on board to do what he wanted to do. And you can really accomplish some unbelievable things when, as an organization, you're able to connect emotionally with the people that you work with and your customers that come to see you. The key to that, how to create that, is this idea of leveraging the story of the organization. So Walt was a master at that, right? When we went through traditions our first day of work, that's all we did is talk about the heritage and tradition of the Walt Disney Company. And that was really important in creating the connection, and that's what we do with our organization. We help folks create an emotional connection with their people and with their customers.
All right. Just for the viewers right now, can you just explain what traditions is? Because they may not understand that.
Right. Again, another great Disney difference, and it's the first day of work. So whenever a cast member is hired, before they get out to their work location, you think about the first day of work in a lot of organizations. A lot of times it's an empty desk and trying to find some equipment to be able to start working. Disney is a completely different vibe, with the idea of having the heritage and the tradition of the organization be all that a new cast member does for, golly, it's 2 days. It's 2 straight days of just steeping new cast members into the tradition of the organization, which really makes a difference when they finally get out to their work location and they're asked to perform.
Right. And you know what I like about that is that's an investment. That's a huge investment to put every employee, or they call them cast members, right? Yeah. Tens of thousands of new hires every year has to go through this 8-hour class before they get their on-the-job training. So I think that speaks a lot, I guess, to great companies that make that investment up front. Would you say so?
Oh, yeah. Oh, without a doubt. And you think about that, a lot of times when we talk to clients, we think, wow, we say, that's kind of expensive. What if we invest all that money and they leave? And then our response to that is, what if you don't and they stay? So you don't want that. You want them emotionally connected with the organization. So there are business results that occur in the fact that you keep folks around longer and they perform better when you're able to inculcate them into the organization really effectively. And that's what Disney does beautifully, and that's what we help our clients do.
Sure. And now the interesting thing is, it's been years since you've been affiliated with Disney, right? So I know early on you were full-time, and then you were in management at Disney, and then you've gone back and you've worked for the Disney Institute. You've spoken to business owners, leaders, managers throughout your career at Disney Institute, talking about how Disney does things. But now you've taken that and you've moved into your own company, the Donnelly Effect, right? And I love that name because you are Mike Donnelly and you are the Donnelly Effect. So can you talk about that name? Because it's key here. I know that the Donnelly Effect name correlates to what you do for organizations and companies, but I also know how it came into being, and I would love for you to share that with the viewers. I
Well,
know.
thanks for asking. Yes, yes. So as Disney cast members, you know, especially when you're a new Disney cast member, you don't get Saturday, Sundays off, right? You get Tuesdays and a Thursday. Or so whenever we had the opportunity, a lot of us, you and I and colleagues and friends, would head out to the beach. And when we headed out to the beach from Orlando, often in the summertime, we would go out, it would be cloudy. And when we got closer to the beach, the clouds would come back away from the beach and inland. And it would be sunny at the beach every time we went out there. And we coined that effect, the Donnelly effect, every time we went out. So we all got a chuckle out of it and thought, well, you know, if we were able to do that for organizations, if we were able to kind of bring the clouds back and shine light on the great heritage and tradition of a lot of organizations out there, that might be a winning formula. So that's why we call the company Donnelly Effect.
Right. And folks, what Mike is not telling you is that no one wanted to go to the beach because it was cloudy. But Mike said, no, 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 no. It is sunny at the beach. No one believed him. But Mike led us to the beach. And wouldn't you know it, magically the clouds went away and it was sunny. And I love that because I think you're doing that with organizations now. Can you tell us a little bit about that process?
Yeah, so thanks for asking. Those, so absolutely, when we work with organizations, you know, we discuss business results and we discuss service and we discuss loyalty of the customer and the team members. But when we think about our content, we think about that when we have responsible and engaged and inspired leadership, that's really important. That's the first thing. If we have that in an organization, those leaders tend to bring to them, they grow and they're kind of like magnets to the people that become responsible and engaged and inspired. Why? Because they have great leaders that are doing that. Then those people interact with the customers that come to see the organization, right? At Disney, it's the guests, and at other organizations, it's the customer. And when responsible and engaged and inspired people interact with a customer, that interaction tends to go really well. Not perfectly by any means, but it tends to go really well. And when it goes well, the customer is surprised and delighted, they have a great time, and they come back. And that creates customer loyalty. And when your customers are coming back again and again and again, you end up with great business results. So that's the kind of, so if you think about the content, how we talk to organizations, first we start with leadership, responsible, engaged leaders. Then we go to people management, responsible and engaged people. We go to great customer service because those people are interacting with the customers. And then when we do all three of those things, we end up with great business results.
That's awesome. And you've written a book, Mike. Can you talk to us about your book? Because you're a friend, but so I downloaded the book anyways. It is available through download, but I also, and I paid for it, by the way, didn't get it for free. I paid for it. But I loved it. I'm still reading it. It has some great principles. But tell us about the book and how someone comes to write a book. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Well, thanks. Yeah, so Unlock the Magic, it's 50 key strategies from my time at the Walt Disney Company. And, you know, when we discuss our time at Disney, we think to ourselves, yeah, like every organization does it like that. And we've realized that actually that's not true. A lot of organizations miss some very simple remedial strategies and tactics that Disney does. They're very intentional around those strategies. So we thought we'd jot those down, and it's really kind of a workbook. So we want leaders to take it. There's plenty of room to write in it and make notes in it. And there's 50, so you can do maybe just one strategy a week and kind of work on it and think about it. And hopefully it becomes a real valued resource for folks that buy the book.
Yeah, hold that book up again. Let me just see it again.
Yeah, thanks.
I went. I went. It's called, and we'll tell folks in the show notes how to find you and how to find that book and how to download it. But it's a great book. It's affordable, and I would definitely recommend it. So
thank you.
You know, I want to talk about what it takes to get leaders from good to great. And I believe you actually, early on when we first started talking, you mentioned the mug, which was cool. And that means a lot to you. But you mentioned the handwritten note. And I imagine that's probably one of the key factors. But can you talk about that and why that note meant so much to you?
Yeah. So that it was didn't have to be done, but it was done. It was a surprise, and when you think about good to great leadership, I think that well, we know this because we asked Disney cast members. We said, "Hey, listen, what is it that a Disney cast member leader does that makes them really great versus just good?" And we had, golly, I think it was about 100,000 responses back in the day. That was a company-wide initiative, and we came up. Well, actually, we discovered there were four basic things that great leaders do at Disney, and I believe it anywhere you go. These hold true. So they were listen, involve, coach, and recognize. Those four things. So if you think about those four things: listening, involving, coaching, and recognizing. Disney cast members said, my great leaders do those four things just really, really well. They listen not with the intent to reply like we all do too often, but we listen with the intent to truly understand. So when a cast member at Disney feels understood, they have a strong connection with their leader, and that builds trust, and high trust relationships break apart very seldomly. So good high trust relationships based on this idea of great listening. Involving folks in, so that you think about involvement, they were interested in being involved in decisions that affected their daily work. So if you're going to change something in an organization, if you're going to change equipment or speakers or paper or printer or software, they wanted to be involved in the decision-making process, not surprised. And I think Disney does a really good job of that. So listen, involve, coach, not reprimand, but coach. Help me develop, help me learn, help me do different things. Help me go from the Jungle Cruise to guest relations to casting, right? Listen, involve, coach, and then recognize. So Disney is very intentional around recognition. They do a wide variety of things about recognizing the behaviors that they're looking for. Because here's what we know: when we recognize great performance, we get more of that performance. Isn't that true?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So when you recognize and you get better performance, then, and this is what I like about what you're doing, is it's not just all fluff. It's not like, hey, let's make your company Disney, right? You're not doing that, but you are saying, here are key components, things that Disney through the years has proven to be a generator of positive business results. Correct?
Agreed. Yes, no doubt about it. Yeah. So when we're talking to our clients, it's like, well, make us Disney. Well, we don't. Don't let Disney be Disney. You be you. You be your best you, and that's what we help clients do.
Right. They're like, should we just get name tags, Mike? Should we get name tags?
Right. Well, you think about the name tag and how intentional Disney is around the name tag. That name tag is really the brand. When a Disney cast member puts the name tag on, which is the reason we always wear our name tags, it represents the brand. And there are some behaviors that are required of cast members when they have the Disney name tag on and they're on stage, right? Versus backstage, on stage, backstage. So that's really a very important thing. So that's one of the key pieces of Disney, that when we put the Disney name tag on, we represent the brand. And they're very intentional and very structured around the behaviors that you have when you're representing the organization.
Okay. Mike, when you go into a company, why I imagine companies, you're out there, you're presenting, people come up, they want to talk to you, and you say, okay, this is probably what we could do for you, or here's some of my ideas. Why would companies not want to do this? I mean, I can understand why companies will want to do this, because I think it all makes sense. You think it makes sense. Many of our viewers may think it makes sense. But what are some reasons companies don't want to do this? Why isn't everyone doing this? What's going on out there?
Yeah, yeah. Huh. Well, I think that well, in the current climate, I think cost is an issue for folks, and they want to see a return on investment that they make, and we can draw a direct line between great service and loyalty of customers to great business results easily,
Hmm.
easily. Now, the key there is that you can't start with business results. You have to start over with great leadership, move to great people management, then to great service, and then the business results come. So we are constantly talking about that and discussing the idea of how much to invest, why to invest, and getting a return on the investment
Hmm.
that we talk about. Yeah.
Okay. No, that makes sense. So people, I guess companies will come in and let's say, make my employees friendly, right? Is that what's happening? And so,
Oh, no doubt.
yeah. So your process, and I know we touched on this earlier, but your process is, talk to me about that again. You start at one part and you have a formula where you go down the line, and then, hey, and is that what I see happening, right? You're not just going in making the employees friendly.
Right, right. Well, you think about it, oh, it makes Susie smile, right? Well, why won't Susie smile? Well, because there's no emotional connection there, right? There's no connection to the organization, or there's a lack of connection to the organization. There's a lack of, there could be job burnout, a wide variety of reasons
Hmm.
why Susie's not smiling. Now, I think that when you think about what we do about that,
Right.
organizations have this great resource that is the history and heritage of the organization.
Good.
And every time I visit with organizations, they have some incredible stories about how they got started and how they overcame adversity and what happened when they were almost taken over, all that stuff. Great stories.
Sure.
And for some reason, they are all looking forward so much, they forget that that heritage and tradition is critically important for Susie to make her realize that she's a part of something larger than herself.
Okay. And that's what creates the emotional connection.
Indeed, indeed, absolutely. So yeah, so I'm a part of something larger than myself. Wow, okay, I get that. All right. So, oh, now I understand what we're trying to do. Now I understand why it's important to greet each and every guest that walks in the door with a eye contact and a smile. That's why we're doing the things we're doing. And when you're talking to millennials and this newer generation, they want to know, hey, what are we doing here and why are we doing it? And that answers the question of why. Why do you want me to smile?
Hmm. So everyone has a story, Mike. Every company has a story. It's why I'm doing this show. I believe a lot of people have a great story to tell. I think you have a great story to tell. And I love the fact how you're getting companies to say, you have a story to tell. Grab it, grab hold of it, own it, right? Own that story and share it. Share it with your employees, share it with your customers and guests. And am I hearing you? Then you create that connection all the way through. Dude,
Right. And
am-
then you have license to be able to say, now that you know what we're doing and why we're doing it, here's what we want you to do. This is the why behind what we want you to do. Here are the behaviors that we're looking for every single time you interact with not only our guests that come to see us, but each other. You think about the internal vibe, the culture of an organization is deeply affected by this the idea that everyone is part of the same organization and part of something larger than themselves.
all right. Beautiful. I love that. I love that. So Mike, how could folks get in touch with you if they wanted to know more about you, about your organization, what you can do for them?
Yeah, well, thanks for asking that. Well, so we're on the web, so it's donnellyeffect.com. We're redoing our website, so that'll be up here in the next few weeks. So if you've been there before, come back and see us in a few weeks. There's also a place to click and buy the book if you want to see the book. There's a blog, so it's a Sparks blog. We have that come out, and it's free, and it doesn't cost anything. We believe in the abundance mentality, so we're trying to get all of our content out there. So if you'd like to subscribe to the blog, that's on the website also.
All right. I love that. The abundance mentality. Look, I know we're getting towards the end of our time and I want you to share anything else that I might have missed, but can you talk to me about the abundance mentality? That's a neat term. I've not heard that before. I kind of think I know what
Yeah.
it is, but for the viewers, can you throw that out? Where does that come from? What is the abundance mentality?
Yeah, yeah. Well, you think about the abundance mentality, it's the opposite of the scarcity mentality, right?
Right.
Scarcity is like, oh, there's only so much to go around. I got to get the stuff that I got to get because I'm going to lose out. It's like, well, when you're a part of the family and mom cooks chocolate chip cookies when you come home from school. And if you've got sisters like we do, you got to get to the chocolate chip cookies before they all get eaten because there's scarcity there. There's scarcity in the chocolate chip cookies. But we believe that there's plenty of chocolate chip cookies to go around. There's plenty of content to go around. So we just love being able to share our content, no cost or obligation. When people find value in that, they come in contract with us eventually. So yes, it's all free and it's all there at DonnellyEffect.com.
And you know what I like, Mike, is, and I've seen this as I've been around, and I've been in HR for a while. I've been in hospitality, theme parks, other industries, and the companies that do more, that just do a little bit more, that provide more abundance with their, I guess, their overall, like Disney, right? Disney provides more of an experience. They get people to think, geez, I'm getting more than what I paid for. You know, I like that. And I believe those folks do very, very well. The scarcity mentality, they may do well, but maybe that's not as much of a long-term play. It could work for some folks, but I think the folks that do the abundance mentality, that give more, they get more. And that's a philosophy for thousands of years, not only in organization, but in companies, but in all kind of organizations throughout the world, correct?
Agreed. No doubt about it. Yes.
All right.
Here's to abundance. I love it.
Mike, what have I missed? Is there anything I've missed today that you want to share to get your message out? Because like I said, I think you're really cool. I love the fact that, I still remember the days when we were out there, hourly employees, and now we're both grown, mature in a way, maybe in looks, but maybe not in mentality and emotional attitude, because I still feel young. I still feel like I did back in those days. But is there anything else that I missed from you and your story?
Well, thanks for asking. Well, I would just challenge your audience to just think about the idea of how do we make a positive emotional connection today with our customers, our team members, our families. It's really very easy to do. It's a small thing, but if we're listening, involving, coaching, and recognizing, those help us go a long way toward connecting emotionally with our folks. So that's the challenge of the day. Make a positive emotional connection with someone you care about.
Yeah. What's the story of your family? Pulling together the history of your family, sharing it with the kids, sharing it with it. And that's another way of creating an emotional connection to that familiar bond, right? Family bond.
Absolutely. Yes. So that Disney philosophy absolutely applies inside the home. Yes.
All right.
Grandparents and heritage and tradition. That's one of the reasons all of these heritage places are doing so well, is because people are connecting and thinking, wow, what is my heritage and tradition? That's why they're doing so great.
Mike Donnelly from the Donnelly Effect, folks. Listen, it's been great having you. I hope you enjoyed being had. That's an old Jungle Cruise joke, folks.
Yes,
it was great having you. I hope you enjoyed being had. Think about it. The HR and Leadership Spotlight Show. Mike, thanks for being here. Folks, if you have a message to share, if you are a leader, a business owner, a coach, a consultant, a customer service guru like Mike, we would love to have you on the show. Show is brought to you by Get HR Help Now. Get HR Help Now. Go visit us, see what we can do for you. Mike, thank you again. Folks, until next time, be safe out there. Cheers.